Okay, that was weird. Customers just killed all the chances. Is there even a way to finish this software development project on time? See for yourself what they just did.
Hello, Dimitri. I hope you're having a great day.
Hello, Delana, thanks. Yes, the start of the day was very productive. How about you?
It's great. I'm having my coconut latte at my favorite coffee boutique. Anyways, I have an update for you. There won't be any specifications. Your team will have to analyze the rules and come up with requirements. Make sure that you keep our people busy the whole time. We want to get the best value for the money.
That's a bummer, and it's so weird. Let me give you some context. I was assigned to this project. On the next day, I had my first meeting with Delana. She said she would provide specifications for the application we need to create. Then I wrote a project charter and I mentioned this little fact in it. After that, Delana approved it in an email, and now she is telling me that she won't send us specifications and we need to create them on our own. It doesn't make any sense, but let's get back to our conversation. Okay, does it mean we'll add a business analyst to the team?
No, the team stays the same and the deadline stays the same, so the plan remains the same. We simply won't have specifications.
Yes, and it will add several weeks to analyze those rules books. There's something like 600 pages of text.
Yes, that's a challenge. So do your planning and stuff. Then, if you feel it's not feasible, let me know and we'll find another team that has the required capacity. Anyways, I know our partnership is critical for your company, so try to see if there's an opportunity to overcome this unexpected challenge.
Okay, take a deep breath, Dmitro. Don't break these relationships just because of this llama. It's a standard occupational hazard. Let's carry on. Sure, Delana, I'll talk with my team to see if there are opportunities to speed up things for this project. In the meantime, could you please send those rulebooks so that we can start as soon as possible?
Yes, Dimitri. I was planning to send them immediately, and let me know if I can assist in any way. I'll be glad to help you with this challenge. Anyways, I need to run. Bye!
Yeah, I'm dying to experience your help. Thanks, goodbye. Okay, you heard it yourself. Now, the main question is, what should I do? With all these challenges, is there a way to finish this project successfully? But here's one more thing, my career is at stake. You see, I've been working hard towards my promotion and big salary raise, and failing this short-term, small project just before the review may ruin my chances. Obviously, if I don't manage this situation correctly, there is more than one scenario where I get all the blame for failing the project and this strategic partnership. Okay, pause here and write me in the comments about how you feel about such situations in your career. Okay, there is one thing you should remember. When your project is at risk, you should always over-communicate. So let's notify our boss about upcoming challenges. His reaction will dictate what you can do next. Hi Christopher, there is a problem with Soft Assistant. I need your advice on the course of action. I did some research about groups and the app we need to create. The rules of the game are massive. They take about 600 pages, lots of business analysis. Know that I spell out the complexity of this situation. I want to frame the correct perception of my problem. Then I had a meeting with Delana. We discussed the risks of not having a business analyst on the team. Moreover, we don't know the group's rules to understand the business logic of the app. She promised to provide all the specifications for the application. I have captured it in the project charter. Delana reviewed and approved it last week. But I've just had a call with her. She said there would be no specifications, so we have to come up with the requirements ourselves. Moreover, the deadline and the team composition stays the same. And yes, she manipulated our future partnership. Okay, let's pause for a moment and think about what we are doing with this email. Why do I describe all these details to my boss? Well, because as a project manager, I have a limited perspective. I have control over my project's resources only. On the other hand, my boss has more resources and more options at hand. For example, he may just add more people to the project for free. That may secure the long-term partnership and will earn more further down the road. That's one option, but likewise he may consider cancelling these contracts because it's not worth the resources and the motivation of people. But at the same time, we should not stop here. Great project managers are problem solvers, so you should always provide a solution. However, you should not simply accept all the nonsense and take on more work, especially when you are at the limit of your capacity. There should always be a trade-off. Ideally, you also need to benefit from your extra efforts. So I will write the following. I know it's a strategic partnership for our company. Therefore, I can try to handle this situation. However, it requires my full attention. So, you need to take me off from my other projects as soon as possible. I have a plan on how to collect requirements quickly. Still, with such an attitude, there is a high probability that we won't meet the client's expectations despite all our efforts. Please let me know what you think. Should we cancel the project or should I try to rescue it? Frankly speaking, I expect nothing less than full support from Christopher. Otherwise, it's a good indication that I need to bail out. If leadership puts money above people and closes its eyes on obvious unethical conduct, it's not a good environment to work in. And Christopher responded in just a few minutes. Let's see what he has to say.
Hey Dmitro, thank you for your positive outlook. I knew this would be a challenging client, but not like that. I see all the risks and extra work, but we still need to give it a try. Once we land this partnership, we can remove Delana from the stage. I'll find someone to pick up your other projects. The company won't forget your efforts.
Good, we got support from my boss. By the way, you must communicate such things only in emails. Never do it over Zoom or phone. You should be able to prove that your leadership knew about all these risks. But unfortunately, it's not enough. Delana may try to escalate the situation and frame it in another way. And frankly speaking, we know nothing about her relationships with her boss. So now I need to write a politically correct email to Delana. And if you find these tips and examples useful, please hit the like button. It will indicate that I do need to continue sharing my experience in project management with you. Thank you in advance. Dear Delana, based on our conversation about requirements, I would like to bring up potential risks and solutions that we see. Notice that I don't mention things like you broke your promises and didn't deliver requirements. I don't put it in her face. Or muzzle? Anyways, why don't I do that? First of all, the way Delana delivered the message during the meeting definitely made me angry, and you should never write emails under strong emotions. So again, emotionally, it may feel like Delana wants to intentionally fail the project, ruin my career, and make our lives miserable. But in essence, she's just hiding her failure. Also, think about it, she has a deadline in 2 months. Cancelling our contract and finding a new vendor will take weeks or even months. So I believe it's not an option for her. At the same time, her behavior is the result of her own insecurity. But project managers are leaders, so it's critical to apply some empathy and help Delana to save her face and give her a second chance. Then we'll see how it goes. Our contract doesn't include a business analyst. We have a short deadline, we need to collect requirements before we can start development. First, we'll need to spend several weeks collecting those requirements by analyzing information in 600 pages of games rulebooks. Now, I want to convey that we are in the same boat here. I don't want to drag this confrontation through the whole project. At the same time, we must make Delana share responsibility for the imposed risks. So it will be like, you either accept the responsibility for the risks and help us work through them, or you need to cancel the project and face the consequences. And it implies that she has to explain the reasons. So let's lay out our solution next. That's why we plan to spend the next week or two exploring rules and requirements and start creating functionality in a real agile way. So it will be one piece at a time. As you understand, that will eat up our development time. So we should be very strict about the features we will include. As you see, I try to set up new expectations here, compared to the ones we set in the project charter initially. So never assume that customers will derive these expectations themselves from your new plan. You should always articulate what they will get and when. You should expect no more than MVP version of the app by the deadline. It won't be ready for submitting to App Store. But then we will follow up with more updates every week. You'll decide when the app is production ready. This way, you will have something to show your sponsors on the in-house presentation, but likewise, we'll have the time we anticipated in the beginning. Considering all the risks and challenges, please let me know if it looks like a sound plan to you. Looking forward to hearing from you as soon as possible to carry on our project. The response from Delana didn't take long to come, and it was short. It meant that we made correct assumptions and hit the right buttons. She said,
Sounds good to me. Thanks, Dmitro.
I can guarantee that you'll find yourself in a similar situation sooner or later. It might not be open right in your face like I have here, but there will be stakeholders and customers that will try to take advantage of your collaboration. So, the moral of the story is that you should not blindly accept the unethical conduct of your customers just because they pay for the project. Instead, you should negotiate with customers and your boss to make trade-offs based on the current situation. That's why it's also critical to understand what communication channels to use to resolve such cases. And in this example, I didn't do it on phone calls or meetings for a reason. That's why you need to watch this video next to understand how different communication methods work in project management. So click on this video and watch it now.